Carson Schlesinger now, the rookie out of UCLA. He's going to be challenging now. He's going to be challenging for a Pro Bowl spot. He's that good. He'll be that good as a rookie. I think they're a 7-8 win football team if they can produce some explosives on the perimeter.
I have them at 7 wins. I think they can win 7. I got the over here. I think that obviously the AFC North is highly competitive, and no matter how dormant somebody is, somehow they find a way to win a game or two against one another. So I take that into consideration along with some of the other games on the schedule. I think they could pull out 7 wins.
Guys, the Niners win total set at 10.5 for this season. That's tied with the Lions as the second highest win total in the NFC, behind only the Eagles. Mad Dog, they also have the easiest strength of schedule in the NFL, so I want to make sure to point that out. 49ers over under 10.5 wins. What do you think?
I know a lot of people don't like them, but there's something about winning culture. That schedule, they play the Souths, they play the Saints, they play that teams in the AFC South, 2 easy divisions. And remember, Vegas is telling you something. If Vegas thinks they're 10.5, they're 10.5. I like the finish. They have a bye late. Titans, Colts, Bears, and Seahawks. They can win 3 of those. They can win 3 at the start. I love the over. Over 10.5 for San Francisco.
Oh, so just forget the rest of it. Just forget the pundits. Just forget the reporters. Just forget the experts, the commentators, the football analysts, and what have you. It's all about Vegas with Doggy. If Vegas said they're 10.5, they're 10.5. We just need to don't even pay attention to anybody else. Just go with Vegas. Hell to the no. There's no Deebo Samuels. Brandon Ayuk ain't coming back until a little bit later on in the season. I love CMC. That's my man right there. Love him to death, but his durability is still a question mark. He's looked 100% in practice and during the preseason. We get all of that, but there's a reason they went out there and got Brian Robinson Jr. from Washington, because they recognize the fact that you can't necessarily rely on Christian McCaffrey, who's missed at least 10 games over the last 3 consecutive seasons. Durability is an issue. I know this, and as a result of that, I'm not going with 10. They might win 10, or I see a 9-8 or a 10-7 record. I don't see them winning more than that.
Yeah, durability / availability is what's going to be their Achilles heel. That's what can just blow this all out of the water. And this football team right now is just banged up. And on top of it, on the defensive side, they have nothing but youth, especially on the defensive front, that they have to develop, that has to show that they can play at a high level. And you know what? The whole thing about using strength of schedule to me, that's another thing I don't like. Because these football teams that you're talking about, Doggy, that you're saying these are easy wins, they play the Titans and they play, who else did you say? I forget who else you even mentioned. The Bears. And look, these teams are improved. This is not 2024. This is a whole new season this year, and those teams are going to be much improved. And right now, San Francisco, they're just hoping that they can get their frontline guys to line up for 13, 14, 15 games. Because right now, they're looking like a mass unit a little bit, especially at receiver.
Okay, you're not going to gang up on my guy, Doggy, like that. Number one, when we're figuring out the unders and the overs, you're looking at strength of schedule, and you're looking at the teams that they're playing. I think they can finish the season. I think the start of the season will be tough. I think they'll finish the season winning like 5 of the last 6. I will say over, because I trust the coaching staff.
All right, Lewis, this is for you. Philly, 3rd most difficult strength of schedule, because I know you want to factor that in, so I want to make sure to for you. Defending Super Bowl Eagles win total is set at 11.5 this season, which is tied for the highest win total in the NFL. Mad Dog, over under 11.5 for the Birds.
I'm going to go under there with Philadelphia. Little hangover winning a Super Bowl. And I know that Lewis doesn't like to deal with this. You just mentioned it. Look at that schedule.
Right.
And look at it late. Look at it late. You know, they play, look at that. Commanders at Bills, Commanders. Wow, that's a brutal finish. And you're going to need a win to make sure you get to 12. And remember, Lewis, for you, they play the AFC West. The AFC West is not a bad team in the AFC West.
You're right.
3 playoff teams last year.
You're right.
That's a hard schedule.
The AFC West.
I can see them 11-5.
The AFC West isn't bad. You know why? I don't care what they did last year. It's much improved this year. Chiefs are stronger than they were last year. The Chargers are stronger than they were last year. The Raiders are stronger than they were last year. Denver's going to be in the playoffs. So you're right. Based on how I think they're going to be this year, that is a hell of a schedule that they have to deal with. I'm taking the under for them because I think, look, everybody's gunning for them. Everybody's gunning for them. And on the defensive side, I want to know this. What's the depth look like on the interior? What does the cornerback position look like outside of, opposite Quinyon Mitchell? Yeah. That's what I want to know. Can they shut it down like they did last year when they could just bully everyone? Offensively, I think they're going to be fine. The offensive line is going to be good. Jalen's going to be the dude that he is, and they've got those dogs at wide receiver, and they got Saquon. They're going to be fine that way. Look, 10 wins. they're still in there anyway.
I got them at 12-5. I'm going with the over. I think their offense is going to be lethal, and sometimes, listen, their defense, it ain't like we're comparing their defense to the Cincinnati Bengals.
True.
The Eagles have a defense. Depth is a question mark. We get that with some of the losses, but I believe in Howie Roseman. I believe in who he brings in to supplement the losses or to offset the losses of guys that went out the door. So that's number one. Number two, Sirianni can coach. He's proven it. Number three, the Eagles' Achilles heel is sometimes playing down to the competition. The tougher the competition, the more they tend to rise to the occasion, particularly with a Jalen Hurts and a Saquon Barkley. That's how I'm looking at the Philadelphia Eagles. I see them going 12-5 this year.
I
actually see them 12-5. I don't think the Eagles are entering the season like we're the defending champs. I think as soon as they won, it was like, all right, we turn the page. I don't think Saquon is going to rush for 2,500 yards. But I think Jalen Hurts will actually have a much better season this passing attack. I think that is actually what they're going to lean on more this season.
Stephen A., you know they hope in the season? Dallas Cowboys in Philly. Will you be attending? That's a Thursday, September 4th.
That's a week from the. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. I mean, it's in Philly. It's in Philly, so I may very, very, very well be there.
I think Jerry could get you a seat if you needed it.
Well, you know, I don't know if I'll be sitting with Jerry in Philadelphia. I don't know how wise that is. I don't know how wise it is, but not only that, I have plenty of friends in Philadelphia. I don't need a suite with Jerry Jones in order to have
especially Banner Day in front of Jerry might be rough.
Private jet in, private jet out.
No, I drive, man. It's right here.
That is so big of you.
Right
Somebody would drive you.
No, I drive myself.
Oh, so you be
Wow.
Oh, you do?
I always drive myself.
Oh, that's where you'd be coming from here. I was just wondering if you'd be coming from Miami or LA or.
No, it'll be from here.
Undisclosed location.
It'll be from here. I'll be in New York. I'll be in New York that week. You know, the debut.
Never know.
The debut of the Stephen A.
Let's be honest. His schedule, it's always fluid.
Yeah, I know. The list is fluid.
Yeah, the schedule's fluid too. All right, there might be speaking engagements. We don't know what could happen between now and then. All right, starting companies, you never know. Yeah. Coming up, could Bill Belichick greatly impact his legacy with major success at UNC? Someone here says it may not matter what the legendary coach does in Chapel Hill. On the way, Mad Dog, I need your game face. Get your head in the game. It is our favorite segment of the week. You're on the road, but you can still deliver. We'll be right back.
I'm at 3 of the last 5 seasons with C-Mac. Not the last 3 seasons.
For Belichick's legacy?
Nothing to me personally. But before I even say that, let me say this. Gary Myers has been covering the NFL for many, many years. Doggy knows him well. I'm sure he's interviewed him on several occasions. One of the outstanding reporters throughout the years. And obviously he's been writing a few books and wishing him nothing but the best. So let's throw that out there first. His record in this industry speaks for itself. Having said that, here's the only reason I say nothing. Because I'm tired of us acting like we get to impugn the greatness of Bill Belichick. He is an 8-time champion. I'm going to say that again. 8-time champion. 6 as a head coach, 2 as a defensive coordinator for one of the elite defenses this game has ever seen. Universally recognized as a brilliant football mind. Now, I know it fell off after Tom Brady left New England. He got older. He was a bit too stubborn in terms of assisting and sort of pushing Tom Brady out the door. We get that part. And we understand that the game has evolved where the quarterback position has become even more important. But as important as the quarterback position has always been, Doggy, Lou, the reality is that in a sport like football, more so than most others, it takes so much more. Offense, defense, special teams, and to be a head coach and essentially the GM and to be an overseer spanning 20-plus years, and to go to 10 Super Bowls. Do you understand the level of leadership that entails? What it takes to keep everybody on the same page, focused? As great as Tom Brady was, Tom Brady would be the first to tell you, I needed that because you can't coach everybody else. You can't discipline everybody else. You can't elevate the culture by yourself. That's Bill Belichick. So, again, he wouldn't have won the 6 Super Bowls without Tom Brady. We get that part. But he did win 6 Super Bowls. And Tom Brady did do it with him as his head coach. And you can't take that away from him. So no matter what happens to him in North Carolina, we know he's qualified for that job. We know he should have had an NFL job based on his credentials. And we know that he's going to go down as arguably the greatest who has ever lived. Let's respect that man.
Mad Dog, what would it do for his legacy, success there?
Listen, I think it's going to help. I understand what Steve is saying, college football, NFL, but, he's had a spotty since he left the Patriots. He didn't get the Atlanta job. interviewed for a couple of other places, never got an opportunity, and he should have, as Steve said. The girlfriend, that CBS thing, that was a disaster. A lot of people have thought that maybe, he lost a little bit of his fastball. North Carolina second thoughts. I think there is a little something for him to prove. I think he's going to do a great job. I think those kids are going to do well there. They sold out every game. I think it's an important year for Belichick. North Carolina does not have a big-time championship pedigree with college football. He has a chance to put him on that level. If SMU made the Final Four, so can he, or the final, whatever it was, the playoff system. I think it's important for Bill. Do I think it's going to make him, erase the last 3 or 4 years? No, but I think it's important to show that he's still got his fastball, and I think he will. And that Clemson game, maybe Lewis will do it. October 4th in North Carolina will be a fun game, and he coaching against Dabo Swinney. But I think it's an important year for Belichick. So I will say important, and it will erase the lingering effects of the departure with the Patriots in the last couple of years. So I think it's a big year for him.
It's a game I wouldn't mind going to. And by the way, I never root against Dabo. I never root against Dabo. That's my man.
Yeah, I don't know if success in North Carolina would erase how things ended in New England, because this isn't an apples-to-apples comparison, the NFL and college football, despite the fact that a lot of it is starting to become blurred in terms of how they do business.
Right.
Look, Bill's legacy is cemented. It's case closed. How it ended, hey, look, a lot of times coaches don't go out the way they want to go out.
Right.
Players don't go out the way they want to go out. If you want to use the term, maybe he lost his fastball, maybe he did. Maybe he did towards the end. He couldn't find another Tom Brady. He couldn't find another guy that could elevate the guys on the field the way he elevated them in the classroom, on the practice field, in the weight room, in the training room. Because I can tell you this from firsthand, from having been coached by the guy when he was early on in his head coaching tenure, you could see then he was destined for greatness. But the fact of the matter was, because of the way Bill presents himself, sometimes people don't want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Right. Sometimes people don't want to recognize the genius that he is. Or let's just say this, the football grandmaster that he is. Mm-hmm. Because the presentation doesn't jive with how they want it to look. Or maybe he's not as friendly as they want him to be, as warm as they want him to be. Look, quite honestly, there were days in my 4 years in New England, I hated the man. I used to not sleep at night because I didn't want to face him the next day. You know why? Because the level of accountability that he held you to, the taskmaster that he was, the no excuses, no frills, no BS kind of guy that he was. But you know what? That's what led him to become that Super Bowl champion that Stephen A. is talking about. His legacy for me, look, it'd be nice to see him go down to North Carolina and really compete in the ACC and knock some people's heads around and say, hey, look, did y'all forget who I am? It'd be nice to see him do it. I'd like to see him do it.
Sure.
I don't care about the girlfriend stuff and all that.
That's none of our business.
But as far as him being an X and O grandmaster, he revamped scouting, he revamped player development. And remember this. I remember Jackie Sherrill said this one time, the ex-Pitt coach, the ex-Texas A&M coach. Coaches don't win football games. Players do. Tom Brady's legacy is also cemented. And people who played with Tom Brady will tell you, Tom was the juice up there in New England when he was at the height of his power. Bill drafted him. Bill developed him. Bill kept him on the roster when he had other quarterbacks and kept him around. That's right.
Went down.
And you know what? And there were many people going, Bill should be fired for not putting Drew Bledsoe back in there. Really?
Yep.
You still feel that way now? His legacy is cemented.
Big point also that we have to make. We really, really, really have to engage in a level of fairness. When people are critical of Bill Belichick, they're not talking about football. Like Doggy said, they're bringing up the girlfriend, or they're bringing up that I understand in a roundabout and indirectly with him and Tom Brady, that's about football. But we're not talking about his football acumen, the coaching job. You trying to tell me that Bill Belichick didn't deserve a head coaching job when he departed from New England? They didn't want to hire him because you got some young bloods that want to put their own fingerprints on stuff. Mm-hmm. And how are you going to feel comfortable coming to work every day trying to tell this man what to do? You're in no position to tell him what to do about football. He's forgotten more football than most executives in the National Football League even know. Those are the reasons he didn't have an NFL job. That's the reason he ended up in North Carolina. But it's not because he doesn't know what he's doing. He's not sharp. He doesn't know what's going out on the field. He doesn't know how to coach and win football games. This is Bill freaking Belichick.
Can you imagine?
I mean, arguably the greatest to have ever done it. We don't even, once upon a time, we used to say Lombardi and stop. Then we got caught up in the Chuck Noll and the Bill Walshes of the world and stuff. And then Bill Belichick came along and eclipsed everybody. We got to stop this and show this man respect. To do otherwise is to disrespect not just him, but the game if we're judging him strictly on football. There is nothing to talk about against him as a football coach.
Absolutely.
Nothing.
Mad Dog, I'll give you the final word.
And speaking of respect, let me just throw this in there if I can there, Stevie. I knew him 40 years ago. Good for Lee Corso this weekend. You know, this is his last weekend with picking the games, and they're going to have a big special for him on Saturday. I don't want to make this too personal, but 40 years ago, I was in Orlando when Lee coached the USFL Renegades. And this is a guy who played at Florida State with Burt Reynolds, played against Johnny Unitas, coached against Roger Staubach, made sure he got Tom Jackson to go to Louisville. Lee was very, very instrumental in putting me in a good spot after I got fired in Orlando. Took me out to eat. I did a coach's show with him with the Renegades, and I haven't spoken to him in a while, but I'm sure you too. Both of you guys, I'll be thinking about Lee this weekend when I watch that Texas-Ohio State game. He is one of the all-timers. Love the guy.
I'll be thinking.
Congratulations.
I love that story, Mad Dog.
I'll be thinking about him. I'll be watching him. And what Doggy just articulated is the reminder of why history is important, because a lot of folks on the come up may not know that stuff about Lee Corso, but what they don't realize is that it's people like him that enabled people like me, you, Doggy, and everybody else to be in the position that we're in. That is why I will be glued to my television set this weekend, watching every moment of the tribute that they pay to him.
Speaking of this weekend, Stephen A., we have quite the slate of college football coming up for you guys. We start on ESPN with number 25 Boise State and USF